For this particular assignment, we're gonna get used to collecting data. So we're going to measure length, we're gonna measure volume, and temperature. Probably a review, but it's a good place to start for us. Now, what I've done here is I've got a ruler, and we'll say these units are in centimeters. And I've got my item, and we're just gonna see as best we can what the measurement is for each object. Now you'll see that there's marks for each centimeter. So I have 9 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 4 centimeters, but there's also individual marks on the ruler in between, and there's 10 of them. So I could get as precise as like 8.1 or 4.5. You'll notice that that slightly larger mark in between the numbers is the 0.5. So I'm going to look at my paperclip here. I'm going to line it up as best I can there. And I am going to estimate that that is 11.3 centimeters. Don't forget the units. Put your units in. Even though it says length in centimeters here, we want to get used to putting the units in. Now you might come up with 11.2 or 11.4. That's okay, as long as we can tell that it's in between 11 and 11.5. You're gonna do that with the rest of these. On the next page, we're measuring volume. Now with volume, we have to be aware of something called the meniscus. So we're measuring liquids. And in these graduated cylinders, the top of the water forms this little curve, and you can see it in these pictures. So here's all my water. When we're measuring the liquid, we want to measure from the bottom of the meniscus. So this curve is the meniscus, and we measure it at the bottom. We don't measure it at the top or in the middle. For instance, on this first one, I'm looking at, this is milliliters, 6 milliliters, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I'm not looking at 9 milliliters here because that's the top of the meniscus. I need to go with the bottom. And that would be 8, 8.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 8.5, 8.6, 8.7. And it looks like it goes above 8.7 just a little bit. So I'm gonna say 8.8 milliliters. Again, putting those units in there. All right, so reading from the bottom of this curve, bottom of the meniscus. And then lastly, we have temperature. Now, a lot of these thermometers that we'll use have both Fahrenheit and Celsius, so you gotta know which is which. In my examples here, I'm using the Fahrenheit side. So we can see these numbers, nope, I'm using the Celsius side. We can see these numbers in Celsius. Now we're used to thinking about temperature in Fahrenheit, but science uses Celsius, so let's stick with Celsius. And my temperature here, if I just follow this red line, because that's what's gonna change with temperature, it goes up past 10 degrees Celsius, 15 degrees Celsius, 16, 17, 18. It's just touching that 18-degree Celsius mark. And that's what you'll do with these as well. If you think it's between two lines, put 0.5. All right, I hope that was a good review. Let me know if you have any questions.